Welcome to From Creeping to Preaching. I'm your host, Renee White, a proud native Washingtonian, born, raised, and still live here in the heart of D.C. I spent many years of my life in this incredible city, and it's not just my home. It's where my story began and where my passion for uplifting my community, especially the youth. This podcast is a space where we can have real, raw conversations about life, faith, and purpose, all rooted in the experience of someone who has walked these very streets and understands the struggles and the beauty of life in D.C. Listeners, this is Season 3, Episode 5. Season 3, Episode 5. I call this one Walk by Faith and Not by Sight. Welcome back. Welcome. We're here again. It's me. And this is another episode, a soul opening episode. Another challenge for me in my life. I'm facing me. I'm facing my truth, and I'm facing my loneliness, and facing a final chapter of my marriage that I tried not once, but twice. Because yes, I remarried the same man. Yes, I went back, hoping things would be different. And yes, I gave 20 years of my life to something that my soul eventually whispered, Renee, it's time to let go. Today's episode is about my newness, my finality, fear and freedom. You know, when your marriage is ending, people think it's the hardest thing. And the hardest thing for me was the court date, where you got the judge and the paperwork. But for real, the hardest part is the silence. The silence when you're alone in your place. The silence when the noise stops. The silence where it's just you and your truth sitting across the room from each other. And that silence hit me hard. I had to sit with me. Not a wife, me. Not a mother, me. Not an occupation, me. Not a caretaker, me. Just Renee. And let me be real. I didn't even know if I remembered how to just be me. I had to ask myself, Renee, girl, how are you going to do this thing called single? How are you going to approach this new life? You haven't had this in decades. What is your next move when you're just knowing to move? You normally move with two. I had to face the fear that crept up every night. What if I'm not ready? What if this hurts me later? What if I get lonely? What if I regret it? But then I had to breathe and answer myself with honesty. Renee, you survived worse. You stood in the darkest places. You carried the heaviest loads. You are capable of becoming whole again. Let me take you all to that day. My stomach was in knots. My nerves was dancing. My hands were shaking because I knew this wasn't just a court date. This was the moment I would step into a new life. Now, the judge had already told me, if he doesn't show up, I will grant you your absolute divorce. And guess what? He didn't show up. And just like he didn't show up emotionally, mentally, spiritually, all those years. And when the judge said, Miss, would you like to retain your maiden name? I paused. A long pause. Because that question carried a lot of weight. And I said, yes, I will, Your Honor. Yes, I will. And then a reality hit me. How do I tell him again that we are done? How do I close this chapter completely when I married him before? When we tried again? When I gave it all I had twice? Was I second guessing myself? Maybe for just a split second, because when you poured 20 years of your life into something or someone, doubt will always try to creep in. But then I remembered myself. You married him twice. You hoped for better. You prayed for change. You gave him all you had. You had nothing to be ashamed of. And right there in that courtroom, I whispered to myself, Renee, brush yourself off. Brush it off. You did your best. You showed up. Now move on. Let's go. When I walked out of that courthouse with my divorce finalized, I felt two things at the exact same time. Fear and freedom. Fear because this was a new territory. Freedom because, Lord knows, I needed to breathe again. I started asking myself, what does single Renee look like? What does she need? What does she deserve? What would she no longer accept? I had to create a new vision board in my mind, just in my mind. Peace over pressure, truth over pretending, joy over chaos, healing over hiding, me over everything. I had to promise myself, moving forward, I will be honest, transparent, and I will not pretend for anybody ever again. I told myself I carried shame long enough. I carried guilt long enough. I carried fear long enough. Renee, let's go. And now what? The moment I made that promise, I felt lighter. People don't talk enough about how hard it is to tell someone we are done. For real this time. Especially someone you once loved. Especially someone you built a life with. Especially someone you married twice. But this time, it was different. This time I wasn't emotional. I wasn't angry. I wasn't begging for change. I wasn't hoping for the best. I was clear. I was crystal clear. I was done with the story that kept hurting me. Done with the chapters that never healed. Done with carrying the weight of a man who never carried me. So when I told him, in the calmest, most peaceful voice, this is the end of us, I didn't tremble. I didn't question myself, because peace backed me up. My spirit backed me up. And God backed me up. And my future backed me up. And now, let me ask you a question. Listeners, my family was there for me through all of this. My sisters, my brothers. Have you ever been through this? A breakup, a separation, a divorce, a moment where you had to choose? How did you handle it? Did you struggle at first? Did you sit with yourself like I had to? Did you find your strength again? What steps did you take to move forward? Listeners, I want to hear your stories. Email me, message me, drop me the truth. You never know who you might help. This new chapter of singleness is not the end of my story. It's the beginning of my freedom. And I want to remind every listener out there, you don't fail when a relationship ends. You fail when you stay in something that breaks your spirit. I choose me today, and I'm proud of that. And I want to choose you. So thank you for rocking with me today. Thank you for listening to my truth. And remember, you got this. Just like this. Just like that. Remember, your healing doesn't have to be rushed. Your next chapter doesn't have to be perfect. And it's okay to take your time when your heart has been through enough. If this episode touched your heart, share with someone who might want to hear it. Meet me next Friday at 9 a.m. on YouTube, Spotify, iHeart. Bring your truth, bring your heart, and let's continue this journey together. Until next Friday, you can also go grab you a copy of the book on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. As you read, every twist, turn, and triumph unfold, you'll gain a deeper understanding of my testimony and life. Changing lessons behind every story. Let's walk this path together. Your journey of healing and hope is just one page away. Let's keep this conversation going. Oh yeah, I'm excited to hear how you're peeling back your layers and embracing your moment of walking by faith and not by sight. I'd like to thank my producer, McKinley, with Moving Emotion by Mac. See you next week.